This man that Liverpool have bought is a superstar. I'm absolutely telling you, this lad is going to be a superstar. That first half performance, and it wasn't a little glimpse here, a little glimpse there. That first half performance from Wirtz, or Wirtz, whichever way. I do think it's Wirtz. They were saying on the commentary that that's how they say it in Germany, Wirtz. The way he can beat a man is impeccable. His touch, his half turn, how he picks. You know when Phil Foden's at his absolute best and he picks that ball up on the half turn, one of the best in the world at doing it. Wirtz is exactly the same. He gets the ball in areas where he's got centre backs just behind him, midfielders just ahead of him. He's surrounded and he's able to turn. He's able to then accelerate into the space. And the one thing I'd say about this AC Milan team today is they were very physical. They had a lot of speed, they had a lot of power, and he was able to consistently create space for himself. And that is a commodity in football that is very rarely discussed, seldom talked about, and maybe not even understood. As a young man watching football, whether it was watching Sunday League football, Premier League football, whatever football with my dad would always say to me, any footballer who looks like he has all the time in the world, any footballer that just looks like, to the untrained eye, looks like no one's challenging him or he's got all this space to work in. My dad always used to tell me they were very, very highly skilled footballers. And the reason he would say that is because they create that space for themselves. That extra yard or two of space they're able to make by reading the situation, selling a defender, having that either that low center of gravity or the ability to quickly maneuver themselves into that space. That extra few seconds it buys them enables them to just create and score and dictate to a higher degree. And I was watching Wirtz do that today. Very, very impressive indeed. Now, aside from that, what he can also do is he has this ability to move around. His movement before receiving the ball in the pockets is also brilliant as well. But then it's his first touch. Then it's his 1-2s. Then it's his sort of approach play with teammates. There was a moment where I thought that Salah should have actually shot very early in the first half. There was some wonderful interplay between Mo Salah and Florian Wirtz. And it was brilliant. It was just brilliant. And I was watching him, and I can't lie to you, jealousy was coursing through my veins. Now, Man United have signed some very good number 10s this summer. I love the fact that we've got Cunha. I love the fact that we've gone and signed in Bumo. And we do have Bruno Fernandes. It was just watching this. So it isn't like a jealousy as in, oh, I need the same. It was just looking at Liverpool with a superstar. Because that is what he is. He's only just come into this team as well. He's going to have Ekitike joining him. The play between him and Ekitike is going to be sickening. Then, right? Then, very likely, Alexander Isak. Salah on the right. Let's not forget about Mo Salah here. The left. What's it going to be? Gakpo? By the way, I'm going to butcher his name. But young Rio and is it Gamoha? Engamoha? I'm not saying don't try and get Rodrigo, and I'm not saying young Rio is better, but he looked a talent as well, didn't he? So for me, I look at it this way, right? Let's just say you get Isak and you can't buy anybody else, and Diaz does go. Gakpo can play out there, Ekitike can play out there, young Rio can play out there. I'm just looking at Wirtz, and that's all I kept on thinking is, wow, look at the talent, look at the ability, look at the quality. But soberingly, you only had two of the main attackers in that team at any one time. And the one thing I hate about preseason games is all those subs at halftime, because for me, it would have been a case of, okay, it's 1-1. I'd have loved to have seen the way Liverpool continued to play with Wirtz. And by the way, if you're just tuning in and you're hearing me say that, you're only seeing this part. It's what the commentators were saying is the right way of pronouncing his name. It might change again in a few weeks. This happens a lot with international names, but they're saying it isn't Wirtz, it's Wirtz. So I'm going to bow down to their superior knowledge on the commentary team, because they often have that inside knowledge. and talk to the players. But he's amazing. And the result today, yes, it's 4-2, but it's a non-competitive game. And I still think Slot will be taking a lot of positives out of this game. I think he'll be looking at it, and I think he'll be thinking, look, if Van Dijk was on the pitch and Konate's on the pitch and the main keeper's on the pitch and Salah's on the pitch and Wirtz is on the pitch, I don't think you can see two very early goals in the second half in that way. I don't personally. I also think you had more quality when you were pinning them back. Some of the young players, some of the less talented players were in great positions in that second half. They just weren't pulling the trigger. So that's why if someone calls me out and says, Terry, but you really want to see Man United play better in preseason, why wouldn't you hold your biggest rivals up to the same standard? Well, I know what Liverpool can do. I know what Liverpool are capable of. I've seen Liverpool do it before. What I'm actually focusing on as a rival is all these new little peccadillos, all these new little pieces they're adding to their team. What is it going to bring? What is it going to look like when they're all in unison? And looking at Wirtz, scary as fuck. Rivals can jump on this 4-2 defeat. They can jump on it like a bitch in heat. They can banter Liverpool. They can laugh at Liverpool. But this result is going to be inconsequential when it comes to the season. The same as, do I think Spurs drawing with Wickham is a sign of their season ahead? No. Do I think Man United drawing 0-0 with Leeds is a guarantee that we won't be better next season? No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Because I watched the Arsenal game versus AC Milan. The first 20 minutes, AC Milan had a lot of counter-attacks. They just didn't score. Then they were kind of pinned back for the majority of the game by Arsenal. It was very similar. It's just that Arsenal didn't concede and took a chance. But you can see who the better two teams were. And if Liverpool played that game again 10 more times, they wouldn't get beat 4-2. So as a rival, I could banter it for 5 minutes, give myself a little shot of dopamine. But again, what I'd be doing is deluding myself about how good this Liverpool team is. And I'd rather just focus on what's to come in reality rather than some kind of superficial nonsense banter over a preseason game. I'm not going to. You can do it. Feel free to. I'm not controlling anybody here. I just can't do it myself because I feel like it would just be setting myself up for failure. But overall, as I say, not a great result. But looking at Wirtz, looking at Frimpong as well, I thought the fact that he can play in that right wing position, I think that's going to be so important for Liverpool. I think it's going to pay dividends. It's going to be a lot of fruit yielded from that labour this season because they're going to be able to bring someone on who is dangerous, genuinely dangerous in that position. Now, whether or not, because I watched a lot of Bayer Leverkusen's games last season and the season before, he played in attack more than he played even wing back for me. The amount of times I'd see him as a wing back, but he was in the attacking roles. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot more of that, especially in games where you maybe want more defensive stability. Conor Bradley is often the better player to be used there. But as ever, look, I want your views. I'd love to get your opinions on this in the comment section below. Personally, I'd be ignoring the vast majority of this result. If I was a Liverpool fan today, I'd be focused on what the likes of Ferry and Wirtz bring to this team going into next season. Because to me, as an outsider and as a rival, it's scary, it's dangerous, and it will be next level. Ekatike and Isak joining that, maybe even a Rodrigo. Shut the front door.